Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours. Got lots of love, love. 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 Got lots of love, love.
Sitting in a 4v3.
Everfrog Esports trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a whoa. See White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Santi's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Sagafort is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Boom! Manages to find a 3K!
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The fourth one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
We are here back yet again with some more playoff action here for CGL season number 17, and we are getting towards the near end of a lot of our brackets in this past week and in the coming next week as well. Today, of course, we do have Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts up against Aura Fury, a 3-time rematch, by the way, in the entirety of this season. So it's going to be a really good one. Let's see who can finally edge out the victory in the lower bracket.
Yeah, and I think my favorite thing about this is, you know, every caster's like, I want to see the Mat 5 banger. We already had one of these from these guys. So surely it's very likely to go that distance again, but we'll have to kind of see because, you know, both of these teams have been playing through, but that was not the only game today, Mott. We've had a little bit of EU action as well going on. So, you know, earlier today, Plate Group did step in and, you know, in the grand finals and barely, unfortunately, took the L versus Pibble Platoon, who, you know, congratulations to them. Phenomenal squad, and Pibble Platoon and Plate Group, both just incredible teams. But we know we get to bring it up to the other level here on the NA side. And again, winner going into grand finals, going up against Shoes Production Crew. And, you know, both teams really actually kind of really want this rematch. Both teams having struggled with Shoes throughout the season.
And my goodness, you can see how big, how stacked this Masters bracket is. Of course, there are 3 bodies, but it's just how bracket, or 4 bodies, but 4 bodies, that's how bracket kind of has to go. But otherwise, it's a very big, like 16 or 14 man bracket here from our rosters. As you can see, waiting in grand finals is Shoes Production Crew, and that's where Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts and Aura Fury are looking to get their, I think, respective runbacks here in the same time. So that's a big thing to really think about, is who's going to get that opportunity to usurp Shoes Production Crew in the grand finals. But first, we got to get through that lower finals in the first place, and this always comes down to where are we going to go for the first map, where we're going to go for control, things like that. And this is, you know, everyone, okay, so we don't gotta like do all that like guesstimating. No, we're going to Lijiang Tower. Yeah, we're not doing that. It's control.
Let's not do that.
No, we're not doing that. It's control. It's Lijiang Tower. Call it a day. Give me what we all have been waiting for. We're not going to change this up whatsoever. It all depends on what you're actually going to run on Lijiang Tower more than with the actual map itself.
Yeah, and a lot of that will actually depend on the bans that come in and out. So these teams will have a little bit of a chance to kind of flex their individual desires here. Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts play a little bit more traditionally, so I do think we might see a little bit more bans along the way. Aura Fury do come in with the first ban. They had map pick as well, being the having fallen later, but also being the lower seed. So I do think there's an interesting dynamic for this team. You know, a lot of teams do like to look to ban out Lucio. It's where you get the most speed out, you know, benefit of speed. And I don't hate that. I can also see taking away the Kiri if you're looking for a good way to kind of deny a bunch of those kinds of traditional plays. It will be the Mauga, which you know what? This is Masters. We've seen a surprising amount of Mauga out of several of these teams, so I'm kind of not shocked by that pick. It might seem odd, but when you look at how deep these rosters are, that actually kind of makes sense.
No, Mauga has kind of almost come back in a way, especially if you're able to pair him up with an Onron, and they're kind of constantly proccing the overhealth perk, or excuse me, the overhealth passive that Mauga has. Yeah, he becomes a little bit of an unstoppable force in the grand scheme of things. So the Mauga ban makes a lot of sense to me. And again, you mentioned Masters, we've been seeing a lot more and more and more, so even more of a reason to choose the Samoan and take him out of the way entirely. And now the Yaoi enthusiasts are looking for a response. Okay, we go for a damage ban, we go for a DPS of Genji, more specifically, a ban that I have not seen, I think, in like 3 seasons. Like, no one bans Genji. I'll go even further. No one plays Genji, really, in the flex DPS role as often anymore, unless you're ideally going for that Winston on a brig dive kind of vibe. So this is very, very interesting to me, at least from Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts. They know something that we don't.
Of course they do. They remember they've played each other how many times now? 3, 4 times. They've seen countless double-digit maps with these guys. So let's go check out who they are bringing in, because like I said, these rosters are really big. There's a lot of depth. So just because we get bans doesn't necessarily mean anything. Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, we're going to start with Wubs and Virga Logic Clamp. Vera Logic on the DPS line. Cloud Lemon, a classic favorite from CGL Tank here. And End and Water Lily, and shout out to Water Lily, who's, you know, first time playing in on CGL on one of these teams, so making it incredibly far with this great squad. Just a lot of star talent on this team. So you know, again, just the dive comp just feels probably natural to these guys. I wouldn't be shocked if we actually just saw this line out come right out.
No, absolutely. This is a very, very, very star-studded lineup, and they're going up against an equally star-studded lineup of Aura Fury as well. Let's get that roster on the screen here and talk about our starting 5 lineup here. We have Blank, we have Wicked, we have ACS, we have Barudi, and we have Gato as well. Very, very prolific 5-man roster here. Again, you mentioned it, you and I have mentioned it multiple times, and we're going to keep talking about the fact that this is their, third, fourth rematch, whatever. Like, they know each other like the back of each other's hands, and they know what each person wants to play and how they want to play it. So, and as you mentioned, these rosters are humongous. If you take a little gander at the CGL website, you can see they have at least like 8 people per team there. So they have no shortage of substitutes, of compositional swatches or swaps, and more than that. And here's the head-to-head. One lone cam is going to be coming in from Blank. So hopefully he'll pop off enough for us to have some of that face cam on the stream today.
My man's got the mic like 2 inches from his face. I love that. I respect that.
Yo, he wants to be heard.
Yeah, he wants to be heard, and he is comfy. I respect this. Look, this is when we talk about. Look, there's always like a thing. So here, I'm gonna get a little on the deeper mental side for a moment. When you talk about like being in your position to play your game, and you talk about being comfortable, being like your desk at your good position, your arms in a good position. This man's living the dream. Mike is 3 inches from his mouth. He's shirtless. He is like in the zone where he needs to be, and I absolutely respect this. Like as someone who wore a Scooby-Doo onesie for the last game, like. You get where you need to be comfortable, and you live that, and that's fantastic. That's exactly what I want to see. That's how you know you're feeling good.
Oh, hold on. Is this the coach cam right here?
That's
Holy,
coach cam.
We got the coach cam as well.
Coach slaying himself. Coach slaying
Yes. Oh, we got the coach cam. Yeah, you're full screen, buddy. We see you. And why are you in the dark? Are you? Please blink twice if you need help. Truly, because you were just in the dark. Yeah, we're gonna go away from that camera. Like, wait a minute, we can't show that he's in a basement. All right.
Brightness of Li Zhang.
All right, we have Lijiang Tower. We're gonna go over to the gardens first. It's a beautiful, very nice open map here with around 3 different rotation points. A lot of teams like to kind of bunker down the points. Some teams like to do a little off and go in the dojo, and some teams like to go through that white room all the way through the backside. And on top of that, we have some really cool introductory compositions here coming in from the Yaoi enthusiasts and from Aura Fury, notably the Ram versus that Diva, a popular 1v1 that we have been seeing more and more of in the tank department.
Yeah, Ram kind of being the default kind of brawl tank we like to see. I think the interesting thing that's really going to be a difference maker is Blink over on the Pharah. You know, at this level with a Pharmacy, you are playing the 3-2 split, and there is a very good chance that, you know, this duo can just get a lot of damage done. You can even just pressure out Wubbs, even though Wubbs has a lot of ability to kind of put it in. You're really kind of free as long as this Mercy stays attached and you play the right angles.
Oh, we are playing Far Mercy in the big 26, and listen, it's working. They're trying to bully Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts kind of towards the objective here. It only works for a couple of seconds until we actually see this complete separation of the front line and the back line, and there's no boosters, meaning we're gonna see ACS go all the way down to that lower part of Lijiang Tower, forcing the reset, and the Yaoi enthusiasts are gonna be able to take that first point in their favor, kind of just allowing themselves to reset on this little bit of a wall here on the bridge.
I mean, that is the correct choke point for that, and Blink never really got the space that Pharah needs to kind of put in. Just great, just target awareness, just knowing that we need to get this Pharah out of the sky. Ooh. Although Blink will open it up onto the counterpoint, so there's a lot of that counterplay gone, means they should get free space and push in on this right away.
Oh, they absolutely will. You can see already the Diva, the Emre, both going in tandem towards the objective here, forcing the Baptiste a little bit out here, as well as the Tracer and Lucio going for that slight soft off angle towards that Emre. It doesn't really work out as we do see a quick flip here. No one able to touch, notably Cloud Lemon kind of body blocked away from going on the objective to negate that flip. Now, Lorelei does get her one in the middle of the day, or in the middle of the engagement here, onto Blank, forcing a reset here. A little soft reset for Aura Fury as they reset back on the objective, but otherwise, they're going to be able to kind of lap percentage here going into the next fight.
Yeah, I mean, these fights have been very good. I do think that now that Aura Fury has the spatial map advantage, they should be a little bit harder to displace. Add in, now you have the Barrage, add in, so you have Kitsune Rush, and Unwoke Yaoi just doesn't really have, you know, they need to get the sound barrier online ASAP. Otherwise, they are just going to simply die to not having an answer. Wubbs kind of being the only counter answer, but they'll need to get aggressive if they're going to win this out. And they can't even approach. It's over.
No, they can't approach. Well, Water Lily was in this little corner trying to get herself, you know, healed up just by the passive. And then Blank realized, hey, they're all in this little room. I'm just going to use Barrage. Oh, look. The shirtless, it really does add so much to everything that Blank is doing right now. And now we're at over halfway of the objective. And we get a double kill on the back line.
You know, Blank setting the new meta, the new shirtless meta is just going ham right now.
Watch me for grants.
For grants. I mean, Aura Fury really bringing the Fury here. 4 ultimates up on board. They've chained a couple fight wins together, and they have the control of the map. They have sights on where Unwoke is trying to get to, and they'll see him trying to push their way through him. It's just going to become the question of how do they engage it, and they will open with the Kitsune. That's a great aggressive play.
I love it, but they gotta be very careful about Blank going towards that back line. You can see the Cassie does scout it out from Wubbs, and that is just completely shut down of the flank Far Mercy from Blank and from Baruti. And this is gonna be resulting in a big snowball back in the favor of the Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts. However, they have to make sure they don't allow the Diva to get more than a more percentage on the point here, because they're kind of trying to stagger out that 99% with 3 check marks available to them at the exact same time, meaning there's a little bit of an advantage for Aura Fury going into this possible last. It could be a last fight situation here.
Yeah, End has the only defensive is Sound Barrier, so you really are going to end up using it against the Override, which, you know, is probably actually a reasonable trade. So then you're looking at Wubs and Blank who have to come in and set the pace here. So, you know, what End ends up doing with this Sound Barrier will really kind of decide the fight here.
I hear the Override Protocol. We're being yelled at. We're going to go for the Sound Barrier to mitigate the pressure from Wicked's Override Protocol. It works out nicely as Water Lily finds a kill onto Blank. In the meantime, will the res come out from Baruti, who is in the Valk form?
Oh,
well, you do get a stick onto the Emre, and you have Baruti, even though she is using the Valkyrie here, she's not really able to not only not get a res onto her Pharah, but she's also not really able to kind of stop the force of evil that is Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast, who also have a bomb and now a Deadeye going into what could, again, be a last fight situation.
I think the more impactful thing, though, is going to be the window coming up from Water Lily. That's just going to control all the space on the side for Unwoke. They are going to be able to set and kind of deny Blank the chance to use this barrage very well. So, oh, that's crazy. No, never mind. We're just done here. This is over.
That's it. That's a double kill. Well, one was, unfortunately, I walk out off the bridge, and the other side is just a barrage. Right in the face of evil. You have a bomb coming in from ACS. Now, is he able to reset here? Possibly not, as everyone just kind of gets off the point for a half a second, resets as they go around the point to find Gatho, to find Baruti, to find Blank, and then that's going to be the way that Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts are able to take that first round. Coach Pot was like, yes, thank God they didn't lose that one after Wicked fell off the map. Thank God.
I was just saying, no, not even just Wicked falling off the map. Wicked falling off the map, and then we also lose a second. We were down in a 5-3 situation and turned that back, I think is the more insane part of that. Unwoke just absolutely turned something that should have been a loss immediately to a win. Yeah. And I think that really does speak to how just good they are. Like, these completing kills from Virological has just been very good. They're just kind of following up and making the right decisions onto it. But going in and now to Control Center here, it's a different game. This is going to be more brawl-centric, which means Unwoke with Cloud Lemon on this Ram is just going to be a little bit more in the better position. Ascend can still do a lot of work here, but you don't have the high ceiling, so Blank now going to match over to the Cassidy. We'll see a double hit scan coming in, you know, kind of a game. So we'll have to see who gets the better angles, like these two opposite high grounds.
Oh, speaking of angles, Wubs is going to be controlling a lot of it with that Hanzo that we are looking at instead. Now, the Emery on the high ground here, I do like a whole lot more, only because Emery is so strong right now in the hit scan department, meaning we're really forcing out a lot of repositioning here from the backline. Again, you can see ACS is simply just kind of keeping track of this high ground, not allowing this Lucio and Hanzo dual line to overtake it. Now, it does kind of doesn't really work out too much in the favor of our Fury, as Wubs just does find one headshot onto Baruti, and then ACS going to kill onto Blank and Wicked. We do get, unfortunately, demeched here, right? A little bit of an overextension from ACS in the meantime, as we got a little bit too greedy going for a kill onto N, which did not come into fruition, meaning, again, Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts already starting off really strong on Control Center.
And you can see Ascend is trying to, you know, control these sight lines a little bit more and try to deny the space, but it's just so hard. But Wubs just decides, I don't need to do that, I'm Hanzo, I'll just click at one head and be on my way. That log is an opening for Unwoke to just continue to just hold this down. They're going to be buying even more time in the neutral. Gato going to go over and match now on the Baptiste. And you know what, that's fine. I don't hate that. You're not quite, you're going to match the brawl pretty much across the board. I think that's the right call.
No, I totally agree. I love having a double lamp here as well. Oh, Dragon Strike
no
right on the
lamp,
entryway.
No,
that's it. No lamp and no ACS as well. And you're falling up onto the Emery, who runs away to safety with the Siphoning Blaster. But it's all for naught, as Orifere once again held pretty much at their spawn doors, and we're nearing the halfway point capture here for Yaoi Enthusiasts.
I mean, great recognition from Wubs to just see that the lamp had already gone out. We're sitting in the back line. We don't have a sign on it. And now this window, just perfect space.
Oh,
beautifully done. A good trade, though.
Really good trade. Really scary trade, too. Blank kind of just comes in with a Deadeye.
I'm sorry.
Override Protocol just, I mean, it works.
What?
I fear it does work, because Override Protocol is the ultimate of all time right now. That shouldn't have worked, though. That
maybe we need to do something about this Emery character. I
don't know.
That's the second time I don't know, man. I don't know, man. That's the second time Unwoke kind of took a fight that should have been a big L and swapped it around in some decision making. So, hey, good for them. There will be an override on the side of Orifere now, so they just need to make that magic happen again. But I mean, I love this pressure.
Oh, brother, they're all, oh, no. They've all been bullied away. Now, Override Protocol, as you did predict, does get used here, but it gets used after the Annihilation. I do kind of enjoy, but you only have 3 more seconds of this Override Protocol left, and no one is really peeking this M-Ray for any longer than half a second. Good roll in to avoid being booped off the map there, but everyone is looking their way here on Aura Fury, meaning we are going to be able to get Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast a nice clean 2-0 here on Lijiang Tower, securing a first point in the series, and really just feeling really confident going into the rest of the map.
Yeah, Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts definitely feel like that was a map worth a statement, as in we might have lost in a 5 before, but we are not going to let that happen again, because that just felt like, that just felt dominant. I don't really know what to say to that. Like, the pharmacy was an interesting take. It did have moments of it where it looked successful. Once we had the control of the airwaves, it seemed like it was okay, but I mean, the DPS line from Unwoke Yaoi just kind of ran through. Then pairing Cloud Lemon, who was getting plenty of that frontline damage, it was very good. Blank had some fantastic moments there, but just couldn't quite carry it through. I think maybe now that we've seen past this control map, we'll get a little bit of a different look and more deeper look at both teams. Control's always kind of the odd one out. But surely, Ma, as we've seen in other games leading into these playoffs, we won't just simply get the run back of well, control flashpoint, push, because that's what we do.
I'm not laughing at you. It was the last replay of Blank doing and his whole camera was shaking. It was like the barrage was happening in real life, and it was killing me. But this is the little scoreboard check here. As you can see, really prolific ending here for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast. As we do see 20 and 1, almost 8k damage, almost 8k damage from Wubs, for example, and from Cloud Lemon. Really well done, as well as the healing output, almost 10k reached by Water Lily in her own right on that map. She's only literally 9 points away from that nice little 5-figure number. Otherwise, it really could go either way, only because of the fact that, as you mentioned, control is a little bit of the oddball at the end of the day. So when you kind of talk of it in that sense, yeah, payload is always so much more different. Even push, to an extent, is so much more different. A lot of teams will play a lot differently in different compositions, right? So I don't really consider this like a peer into the future. I think this is just a minor setback for Aura Fury.
Yeah, I don't know that this gives us much, but we do have the next map, and this, I think, does tell us a lot. Aura Fury had pick up map and will get first ban. And you know what? I'm just happy because we're seeing so much of this map right now. We get to go to Nambani again, and that just makes me full of joy. It also signals to me that we are going to try to push a little bit more dive, and I think that that's very fair. You did just see Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast kind of just decided we're going to win on the ground. We're going to run Cloud Lemon into you and just win the front to back, and I respect that. That's kind of a great way to respond to this. It does also affect the bans, because you're not going to necessarily look to then ban out the Ramatra. Like, you kind of just lose the Ramatra by map. It gives Blank a chance to play the Pharah again if you do want to use those sightlines. So I buy it. This is a solid pick from Aura Fury, who, coming in from the 5th seed there, coming in from arguably the underdog slot, they kind of need every advantage they can get in some ways.
Yeah, I quite enjoy. Well, first of all, I'm just glad it's not King's Row. This is hybrid.
Yeah, thank God.
And
I don't know that we could talk, Mott.
Well, do not look at last night's VOD. Do not look at last night's VOD. But I'm glad to not be. I'll say it this way. I'm glad to not be casting.
I'm glad to see it.
Row match. I'm glad to see something different. We'll definitely see some dive coming in, some dive fundamentals, especially on Numbani. And a lot of times what I love on Numbani is watching how people tackle first point defense. Attack. Only because it can be so overwhelming because of the amount of sightlines that defenders do have on you on every single angle you try to attack it, whether it's coastline, whether it's staircase, whether it's through main. You are being looked at no matter where you try to rotate to. So with that in mind, with Aura Fury now, again, being the loser of the last match, they get to ban first here, and they could go for something, the Malga was first, now we're going to dive. We could go for something along the lines of that Emery ban pretty early, or we can target something from the back line, like a Kiriko, which is what I was going to start to allude to, as you did earlier with a Kiriko or Lucio ban in that first map. I'm glad to see it here, meaning we're likely going to continue to play that map, or we can go to that Ana and that Brig, allowing for those really free anti-nades to get extra value without a Suzu to cleanse it.
Yeah, I mean the Ana's probably the most likely one, but it also then depends. Like if Unwoke decide that they're just going to keep pushing Brawl, they might still, and they still might push that Baptiste, but it will protect the Baptiste on either side. So with that in mind, I mean their first pick was the Genji, which we'll never really know how much value that got. So I could see them maybe turning around and just banning a tank here, maybe taking the D.Va out to try to balance out the front line. Then take the Emre. Yeah, I don't hate that. You didn't quite really win the Emre duel in a lot of ways, but you did get enough value out of it. And honestly, you also got value without it. So I don't like, that's fine. You took away arguably one of their stronger DPS picks, and I don't hate it. That seems reasonable.
No, absolutely, and I kind of just talked about the Emery ban. I kind of was just throwing it in the air there because it was being played, and Emery's a little bit of an annoying character to deal with. I didn't actually think it was going to be the option here, to be completely fair, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, right? I was like, okay, I'm cool with it. I'm down to kill Emery. That's fine, whatever. So we can take Emery out of the equation. We can also have some substitutions, right? We have one roll sub and one person coming in for the side of Aura Fury. Notably, Blank is going to be retiring his amazing role as a Pharah and now go over to the amazing role of support alongside Gato. And then Reason is coming up in deck here to replace Blank as the flex DPS alongside Wicked in that DPS line. Otherwise, Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, they're happy with their 5 people on their roster. They're good to go. They're ready. And Cloud Lemon, I think, is the most ready because Cloud does play Winston, does play dive. So I am more than expecting a equal dive opportunity here for both of our rosters at the same level.
Man, he's putting the Aura and Aura Fury down there with Blank. So I do think this is going to be interesting because we just watched Blank. I mean, with Coach Slaying, kind of making the calls on the back end. I do think there's definitely a lot to be said for it for the side of Unwoke. But I do think that, like I said, it's interesting because we watch Blank play Pharah, we watch them play a little bit of Cassidy, so we'll have to see. I'm very curious to see what they want to do, with that. And I do think that there's a lot to be gained out of this. Like, again, with Numbani and these bans coming in, we will definitely be seeing dives. We'll probably see maybe even the Winston versus the D.Va, since those are both fine. And I would give the advantage just to the D.Va a little bit in that regard. The Winston is good once he gets to major perks, but I mean, the D.Va is just kind of a better pick out the gate. Cloud Lemon is going to be the one to pick up the D.Va, though. And yeah, I mean, as we kind of said, you just can't not play D.Va kind of in a lot of ways. Like, D.Va is just too strong. Double flex backline with the Ana Bap is interesting. I don't... Fine,
that's how
sure.
it's kind of...
Yeah, I'm not like... I don't know. I don't hate it. I'm not crazy on it. It doesn't give you a lot of protection. It gives you a very vulnerable backline, but if you play the positionals right, like, you're fine. And then looking across at Aura Fury, like, I don't know, man. The Echo does get a lot of value here onto very vulnerable backlines, but we saw Aura Fury struggle with keeping control of those kinds of air sight lines. So we'll have to see. It will be ACS coming in on the Winston, so not quite what we expected. Actually, kind of a bit of the opposite in a lot of regards.
For sure, you can already see ACS already going up to the high ground, then kind of gets bullied off of it momentarily. The self-nade already coming out quickly from the side of Gato, right? So you're going to have to be off that cooldown for the next about 7 or so seconds, meaning that's an opportunity to actually go in against a Reason, meaning you are down your Echo, you're down one of your key opponents here, or key components of your composition, and they're still trying to poke out this high ground. The Echo not going to be too bad to lose, as you do come back pretty fast, but they're trying to scoping out, okay, what's the weakest point of this defense? Looks like they can be the coastline, but they're once again shut down for ACS, who is so low, and there goes a Reason again.
I mean, that's big, though. Wicked over in the Genji. Now we understand why that came through, but it wasn't quite enough. That dive looked better, but a little maybe difficultly staged to kind of get to it. You could see that they two went coastline and the supports on the main trying to line up and try to connect those dots there. Just didn't quite really work. The target calling was good, got one, but not quite enough when the D.Va's in your face eating so much damage. Still in the neutral with Gato leading the way in the nano, so this might be a case of send it when you get it if you're Gato, just to try to give yourself the advantage, give Winston up into the primal range. But again, I do think you're in like a decent spot. I think you need to stage a little better instead of just trying to get solo onto this Ashe.
We can see the Genji's going for that as we speak, then resets right away from that high ground. Sticky's coming connect onto Wells, but of course Ana's there, and in the meantime, double kill comes in. One coming in from N, the other from Wubs again onto a Reason. Wicked finds a kill onto their opposing flex DPS, and the nano does come through, not from the side of our attackers, actually coming from the defenders. Well, I'm sorry, the Gato did nano, to be completely fair, during that fight, but Warley putting that onto Cloud Lemon to keep the fight alive. And we have a stagger onto Gato. This backline, this DPS line, and this tank are looking so good to keep this defense alive.
Yeah. I don't know that you needed the nano if you're Water Lily. You might have wanted it back, but you do have Pulse Bomb. You're coming into Bob. Those are two very high value ults. And nothing really in the way to stop it. Rally for Blank is still very far away. So like you're positioned very well in this fight, and I do like kind of denying these angles. Again, look at the staging. It's not quite there as the two try to dive in.
Okay, N gets kind of singled out by the Echo and the Winston, but even if we lose N in the meantime, you've lost your tank and you've lost one of your DPSs here, and you can see Wicked kind of hogs the mini pack there for a second. They're away from Veer, and then gets Vero, and then gets a kill with the melee elimination. But you're again in this really unfortunate spot of there's no one there with me. The rally gets popped here, but Wicked only has 18 HP and is anti, so did not get the pop of health or the overhealth coming in from Blank's rally, unfortunately. And Cloud Lemon completely diverts the attention, leaves the Brig to go kill the Genji. We go boop and bash the Tracer, going for the 1v1s, and then while that's all happening, Blank's entire team is dying as we speak. The dupe is out here, so the Echo is back with a duplicate as well, and then it's just not enough, and we still have check marks for defense.
I would say, yeah, that was a very low investment win for Yaoi. That's actually kind of nuts. It really speaks to how their positioning played in their favor. Wub's in the back corner, again, not really able just to kind of fire in on those initial dives. Or Fury did win, or trade evenly more so, I think is the correct. Like, they kind of traded out evenly on those first ones. But when you didn't really kind of follow up those secondary dives, you need to get your focus fire in. That's a great opening Primal pick, though, because that denies Bob. That is so big.
Oh my god, the Primal actually gets a couple kills here. Double
Primal's
kill
nuts right now.
ACS, and then goes for Cloud Lemon, who normally does have the bomb here, so you do have a touch, or at the very least. Or if you're able to get one tick on the objective, Sleep does come through with a nano onto Cloud Lemon, then the reversal onto the Winston. The convergence of Wicked and the Winston onto Warley is very much felt. Then here comes the bomb, a nice elimination onto the Diva, but Bob is there, not quite on the point though. We're edging him towards the objective here. I've been there before. Anti from the excuse me. Then Bob is still there, putting in damage onto the Winston, meaning guess what? It's Gato versus N. And listen, 9 out of 10. No, don't reload, please. Thank you. Big sleep, but it did not matter as N secures a kill, snoozing on the job, but still getting the job done.
Yeah. Slaying knows that was just insane right there. And honestly, End earned that nap. End opened up with First Bloods at least 2 of those 3 fights. So that's actually kind of sane. That's kind of crazy. You know, a well-deserved nap at the end of it. Again, I do really like the dives. I like the way they came in from the side of Aura Fury, but it seemed like once the initial dive and the initial trades came through, we got separated. We got a little lost in the sauce and didn't quite follow up on the same next target. The Ashe got so much free fire. Wubs just was kind of uncontested. I actually bet Wubs is like 1 to 2 deaths max, because I don't think Wubs ever really saw any amount of, you know, damage, any amount of concern. 2, yeah, fair. That's fair. Like, that's about what I expected, but man, that's just so brutal. 4K, Cloud Lemon at 5, like, I mean, Wubs basically almost out-damaged both of the DPS from the other side, so really just showing you how uncontested Wubs went.
Yeah, on Ashe of all characters too, because of the fact that you can just dynamite an entryway, and then you're kind of taking that residual fire damage while, you know, you're being walked on by the defenders, right? So now it comes down to the fact that Aura Fury, first of all, they have a reason going over to his own Ashe, right? Ideally, you want to mirror that Ashe, see if you can get the same value by staying on that high ground and largely being uncontested. What I'm scared of is that Cloud Lemon on Diva means you're not really all that safe from being uncontested. A lot of times Divas will just kind of run at an Ashe. Oh, if you're just kind of in the open though, one old big old log from the Hanzo, and there goes your head. You're in a 4v5 already here.
Yeah, that's the second time we've seen it. Once on the previous map and once here, the Echo Duel in the sky. Great assist from the side of ACS to kind of balance that out a little bit. You lose mech for it though, and that's a bit tragic because you are also down several teams while Wubs is just kind of pecking away at everybody. I mean, we're as good as done here, Mott, for the most part. The reason we'll get there 1, but I think it's just kind of cleanup at this point.
It is going for the Tracer, who does not have recall, by the way, so there's a very quick little track down of that Tracer. Then you got the sleep on Tagato, then you get the nade as well, and then you do have the ball coming in for a last little bit of touch, but without the adaptive shield, without the minor perks and major perks, I mean, ball really can't, you know, stall as long as possible. And they're trying to go for these stagger and stagger touches, but listen, it's just not going to happen, as once again, we're suddenly on match point in a series that I don't think you and I expected to be already so one-sided so far.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, on paper, it should be this one-sided. This is like a number 1, 2. This is the number 2 seed coming in versus like number 5, like a very much lower seed. One of those like we didn't expect to get here teams, and on paper that's what it should be. But considering we've seen these teams go, you know, the full distance before, I'm more, you know, like, it's unfortunate, but I'm very impressed at how Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts have done their homework here. They clearly have an understanding of like how to kind of counter these dives that are coming in, how Aura Fury has been trying to play, and they've been adapting very, very well. And again, just kind of playing into the things that have worked well for them, particularly with Wubs just getting so much value on these medium to long range heroes, kind of going uncontested and maybe even a little bit lucky with the Hanzo shots. But like, it's just really hard to say too much more other than just, it's very clear Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, they want to get back at Shu's production crew.
Well, they really do, and they keep playing the way they're playing right now. They are basically getting their ticket punched in and validated to go right to that grand finals. So with this little bit of a look how the stats, of course, being looked at right now. Unfortunately, I don't know. You know, we saw like the 17-1, the 13-3 from Wubs only dying once, but that was only because, you know, we walked in during attack, and finally we were being looked at by Wicked, who went over to Echo, which I do love Echo a lot, especially on Numbani. But when you have an Ashe like Wubs, for example, a consistent hit scan, not just a consistent hit scan, who's constantly hitting headshots and constantly getting really big dynamites off, you need to kind of rearrange that game plan a little bit and figure out where are we going to go. First of all, we're going to go for round number 3, and where we're going to ban out, which are questions we're going to answer at the other end of this break. So we'll give our team some time to decide on that, and we'll come back with map number 3 of this amazing series.
Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Hold my body
3 times they've gone up against each other. This is the 3rd and final time, and right now, Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts are on track to get a 3-0 in this series. They have to take its last point here on the 3rd map in order to get that 3-0. Sorry, I had some kimchi, so my mouth is actually burning.
Sorry.
But we're going to continue onwards as we go over to not quite a push. I'm not quite a flashpoint map. We're going to go over to Escort. A nice long sight line of Havana comes our way for map number 3.
Yeah, just keep spitting the fire, Mott. You're sounding great right now.
Thanks.
And well, speaking of fire, Havana, one of them hot places from around the world. It's interesting. I actually really love this grand season. We're seeing so many different picks out of teams that are different. We're seeing Havana, which is normally kind of set are similar to Rialto, long sight lines, lots that you can kind of adjust here. But I do think that this is a very interesting pick out of Aura Fury. You did just kind of get rocked by an Ashe and a Hanzo. Like, Wub has been going off, and I don't know that you really want to embrace that without like a very strong plan behind it. So I assume the incoming ban is probably going to help show us a little bit more light onto it, because otherwise I fear we may have just stepped into the bear trap.
Yeah, I mean, Aura Fury definitely have their backs against a wall. This is the start of their Hail Mary response. We have to go something that can give us a reverse sweep. The start of a reverse sweep here, which is always, it's a very tall order to ask for. It truly so, right? You have to figure out a way to get a win on map 3, then 4, then you give map 5 selection back over to the other side. It's very, very difficult, right? So with that in mind, they do have the first ban yet again, being the loser of the previous map. Now we're like, okay, again, long sight line.
Surely.
We just saw an Ashe and a Hanzo that did way too well in Numbani first point. My thought is you have to ban either or, and we're going for the or. We're going for the Hanzo instead, meaning I do believe we're likely going to have Wubs back in on that Ashe. Again, a very solid character on Havana, so not really too much loss there. Not much love lost either, getting rid of the Hanzo.
But I do think that's the better one, because Hanzo's just more likely to get a random pick and headshot. I do think that's like, if that's your fear of just like losing to something kind of unfair, quote unquote, like at least Ashe has to chip away at you. But it does leave Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts with the counter pick. I kind of think like you just get rid of Ramatra or Sigma here. Like, I feel like that's just kind of the play. Or if you really want to be like spicy, take out the Diva and just try to open up those sight lines a little bit more. Yeah, fine. Perfectly fine. Reasonable pick here for Havana. It probably just means we see the Diva instead, but that does put a lot of pressure now onto these tanks to really kind of balance it out. And you know, this is going to be a very interesting map of Havana, just considering of what we've seen, considering we are on match point in loser's bottom here.
Yeah, very, very interesting. The Sigma, as I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think he's a very safe ban. Havana, especially first and second and third point. So all of Havana truly is a really good place for Sigma to just kind of run rampant, right? So we do have some important substitutions to take note of. Notably, we are going to have a new tank and a new DPS coming into the fray here. We have Steve-O coming in, as well as Jaffner as well, who might be on that Widowmaker, which was another option that I was kind of thinking of, but not quite on the side of Aura Fury. I was thinking more of along the lines of maybe Wub might be able to take up that mantle of the one-shot extraordinaire. Could be an option we could see here, especially in light of the lack of a Hanzo, lack of a sniper to that arsenal. But with that in mind, this is the Starman lineup. We have Blank still on that support role. So as a reminder, we did see Blank on the Flex DPS on Pharah specifically, all the way back on Lijiang Tower. As you can see, my man is still shirtless, still in that mic, talking real loud, and still chilling, hoping for the start of a reverse sweep here for his team.
I mean, the 4D Overwatch really does make a difference. When you feel the game, you sometimes play a little better. We'll have to hope so, because it is match point. It is kind of win and go home, and we may just see that microphone go across the room if it gets a little too crazy. I'm very curious to see. Like, I feel like the Widow versus Ashe matchup, if we do get that, is a little bit, a little bit open. We'll have to kind of see it. It'll really depend on these sight lines here. Codlemon opting for the Domina to start. That's just the other Sigma. Like, that's just Sigma 2.0. Yeah, I kind of never understood why teams aren't just doing that instead, other than maybe you have a little bit less shield control, you have a little less survivability. But I do think that this is that point where when you have an ERE backline, like, you just shouldn't really die. You should be able to hold all the space in the world and let Wubs just do work. Aura Fury, Steve-O going to come out on the ball. I'm very interested to see if that actually does come out. I do think you can get value out of ball, and with the idea being I'm going to just distract the back line and I'm not going to let Wubs kind of live on this. I actually do think there's a viable strategy, and then pair in the Zenyatta. Like, the comp makes sense to me. I buy it. Pair it to the double hit scan. It's just going to depend on who has the better sightline angles here.
My god, it might be Wicked here, who's looking at every single possible small area, but Wubs, instead of finding Wicked, actually gets a kill onto Jaffner first. Soft repositioning here from the Widowmaker, going over to the bad piece, finds a headshot, connects seamlessly for the Widowmaker in the meantime, goes for the Genji, possibly going around the left side here, but Wicked can't really stay for too long, as unfortunately, first of all, you're being walked on by this Genji. Also, your entire team is dead. Also, you got staggered up, but at the end of the day, so unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. Your spawn's right there.
I got the one. Ball's still kind of being a nuisance in the back line. Still trying to get a little bit of value out of it, but dangerously low here. Again, I like the disruption, but I do think that we gotta tighten up the shot calling from the side of Aura Fury, and we're finally getting a little bit of that. But Wubs on this now side angle is getting a little bit more pressure out. Ooh.
Yeah, I knew Jaffner. Yeah, Jaffner looked over towards the Ashe as we were repositioning for that little bit of a sneaky high ground space, and you know, 1v1 against Ashe versus Sojourn. I'm putting my money on Sojourn all the way and every single day. Now, Vero is in a little bit of an unfortunate spot. Tough spot there. Does stun out Stevo, though, from the push of the Domina, forcing a complete reset here, or at least repositioning of the ball, but then rolls right on by, and in the distraction of it all, Wicked finds yet another headshot on the reapproach of the Ashe, meaning we are down at DPS, we're down important characters, and we're nearing the last 2 minutes of this fight here.
But that's exactly what you want. You can't let love come through.
Whoa.
Great shot from Jaffner to kind of pair this up. This is what I was looking for, is the shot calling to improve. Well-deserved, finally getting that in the way. That took the double hit scan with Zenyatta, but sometimes it's whatever it takes to work. This isn't a map you would typically see ball on, so I do think that Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, you know, yeah, you know how to play against ball dives, but it's not necessarily the same on a map you maybe don't play a ton of, like Havana. So great for Aura Fury, who will get the positional advantage, at least on the defense, to try to get in, considering they have that lead with 4 minutes to go. Okay, mine's in Narnia. I respect it.
Oh, yeah, mine's in Narnia,
Sure,
and so is my Stevo. Unfortunately, my ball is dead. We have a double headshot from Vero all the way over yonder, finding the small hurt box of the Widowmaker, and then the subsequent dynamite onto Blank. Very quick and easy done fight here, which is probably the best case scenario for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, holding on to this Bob and Captive Sun forever longer, as well as a backline swap. Off is the Baptiste, go over to the Ana from Water Lily.
Yeah, I mean, the bat piece is better. You're not playing as a more group. You're not going to get the value out of those canister shots. So I do think Ana makes a little bit more sense here.
Oh, Christ.
Wicked just continues to open up shots, though. Beautifully done.
I saw Wicked peer out from the corner of my eye. Wubs, unfortunately, did not see the same, as we were so honed in on looking for that Ana and that Zenyatta. We forgot the whole point of this composition from Aura Fury is to distract, right? The ball goes in, the Zen and Ana walk together. You're not looking for this Widowmaker unless you are the Cloud Lemon, who does put a little bit of pressure onto Wicked, forces a soft engagement from the Widowmaker in the meantime, and then you have the angles opening up yet again for Aura Fury to continue on in this fight here. Nano setting up onto the Wrecking Ball. Big sleep though, big high noon.
Crazy.
Hold on, wait for a
Noon
score
is
come
crazy.
through, and there it is. It goes with a one shot onto Stevo as we try to roll to safety. It is not to be found.
The Electric Cowboy still good here for Vera Logic. You know, again, just great read. You play the Cassidy in the ball, you give yourself a little bit of CC to stop him, and you don't commit anything other than that kind of smaller ult in the fight. God, Wubs, that's crazy. Just peeks over the top of the little jump and catches that. Wubs just continues to be the downfall here, just getting angles and punishing. But Wicked hits 2, so suddenly this fight, again, goes the way of... Oh, no way. No way for 3. Looking for 4? No? All right. That's still cracked, though. That's crazy.
No, that was absolutely amazing. Literally for free.
For free.
No sites, by the way. Like, use sites after, you know, got the triple kill beforehand. Now we're fighting on third point, and Wicked walks out. Double kill again. Looks for the Ashe, does not find the headshot. Actually, kind of, I think, hits the crate instead. And then, look, it's just 1v1 between the Ashe and the Windmaker, but then you see the ball rolling in, you're burning to death. The anti-nade actually finds that survivability of the Widowmaker, and we've been able to actually get the second point capture here as well, meaning, my goodness, we are just walking through Havana.
I mean, still 3 minutes to go here. End finally puts the end to Steve-O. But again, that was a free fight. That was just Wicked hits 3, and we're done here. We just walk this fight. We take the space, and Aura Fury looking a little bit of, they got a little bit of life here. But with 4 ultimates on for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, I mean, it's just kind of at a point where you have to, like, this is probably a lost fight. If you're tracking, you know this is a lost fight. The question is, how much can you get out of Unwoke here in regards to the ultimates? Unless you're just expecting Wicked to just carry again, you really have to expect this just to be a loss.
Oh, I'm expecting Bob to come out here too from the side of Wubbs, right on the objective here. So that's gonna be a lot of damage output, as well as soft tank presence as well on the point here. And then you also have Wubbs finding a first kill onto Blink. Then you have Viral on the back line looking for Steve-O, finds a stun. Nano gets expended just to keep Steve-O alive, while we do lose out on not only the Zenyatta, but also that amazing Widowmaker. Sleep does come through again onto Steve-O. Everyone's looking at him, and no one is able to save Steve-O and get him out of dodge. Mech does get taken away and forces a complete disengagement very much from Cloud Limit, actually forced to use the bomb in the meantime, and then we reset back in the spawn room of Aura Fury.
Cheap fight, only costs Bob too, and you get Steve-O's mines and second mines out of it, so like fairly cheap all things considered. But Unwoke are slowly getting a little bit more map presence, which is going to be so big. High Noon out. I don't know that it's going for anything in particular, but it's going to get met by the trance, and that is a good treatables.
Oh, we're trying to put an end to end here, and Philly does so beautifully done. Forces, or at least we did use the Cap of Sun, did not get much value with it. Then a headshot, not gonna get the full connection, or not to get the full elimination. But Steve-O is there to follow up on a 25 HP Ashe. Yeah, that was really good there. Now we can start clearing the field at the last 1 minute marker. No one knows where Wicked is stationed up right now.
It is back to basically neutral here, with Water Lily having the Nano as kind of being the difference maker. Jafner does have overclock, but it's not good, especially when the Wubbs decides to take the Widow into their own hands and try to put some pressure down as well. So, I mean, Nano, again, probably the difference maker here, goes onto the D.Va and just gives them the stall to win this. So a little bit more time off the clock actually does benefit Aura Fury. They kind of want to try to build up as much as they can going into this fight.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad Wubbs finally decided to say, hey, I need to actually mirror this Widowmaker here, and I think Wubbs is like the best one to do it right now. I think Vero's doing an amazing job on Cassie so far, just kind of keeping Steve in check, or Steve-O in check, excuse me. So really good rolls that we're seeing from both of them. But Wubbs peeks for half a second, whiffs, and then re-peeks and dies to Wicked in the mirror match. That's the engagement tool from Steve-O, who does whiff that high ground power driver, so we gotta reset yet again for those cooldowns to come back online.
There's the Nano, though. It's in on Steve-O, and Cloud Lemon trades one out, but Nano's on both sides. It's going to be fairly even who creates the most chaos.
Oh, you can see how that bullet whiffed right past Wicked's head as Wubbs came out from the spawn area. Both Widowmakers trying to go crazy, but we're in overtime now. We can't really take too long to diddle-daddle, right? We do see the ball coming in. We have the mine from the objective, and the Sojourn is overclocking, but Jafner can't go in for the touch without any reinforcements, and that's going to be the first round done. And we're going to hold this for a little bit longer, meaning we're definitely not going to our favorite overtime rounds or even have a draw situation, thank goodness.
Yep, it means that this is going to be likely either match point or still save. I do think Wicked really came to life, though, here. They looked great on the Genji in the previous map, but looking very good, showing off a little bit of flexibility and just showing what they could really do when they have the sight lines, enabled. This Aura Fury squad looked the best when Steve-O was just a nuisance, just on the back line, maybe staying a little too long there, but just creating the space for kind of Wicked and even Jafner to kind of go uncontested in this and kind of go unbothered to focus on doing that thing they do best, which is clicking heads. Wubbs still in the way of that, though. Like, this is still going to be a very, very difficult matchup for the hit scans. They both kind of are going to come down to who can just kind of go unbothered and get the picks the most. Still a bit tough in the air. I don't think we really know who's going to come out on top from that first map. It was a very difficult push, and arguably Aura Fury got a little lucky in that second with just Wicked going off, but sometimes luck needs to be on your side to just keep yourself alive on a match point.
For sure. I do love, in the stat line, you can see very quickly between rounds that Wicked was just so, no way Knicks won. All right, I'm sorry, I'm from New York. Wicked, really just popping off that entire series, or that entire first part of the map. Now we have the return of Domina, not from Cloud, but this time from Stevo himself, as we see Cloudman continuing to rep this diva. Now, Wubs, you were brave.
No.
You were brave to...
You can't do that.
Just stay... They even re-peeked. There was no anything. It was just, I'm gonna stay out here because you can't kill me from that far away. But then no one else healed him, so then he kind of died for it, unfortunately. So, Cloudman goes back to spawn room, swaps over to mirror the Domino. Oh, what a...
Ooh, the trade back, though. That's a slap back from Wubs. That's crazy. The Mei eventually not able to live through that, and Unwoke, I mean, again, just slow picks away. Wicked tries to open it up, and somehow again, Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts just steal maps, just steal fight wins away. They go down 1, they go down 2, and still just come out on top just after it all. That's just crazy. They'll get this presence, they'll get the important corner, they'll have the sight lines for their hit scans, and just crazy that we're in this situation. What are we looking at? Jaffner, what are we doing, baby?
Jaffner. I mean, we kind of got really honed in on going for that front line, but then we kind of regret it, right? We lost 2 for that one, meaning, yeah, you're kind of in a disadvantaged state, especially as we do see Wicked being so hyper protected by the Domina semicircle, right? Wubs, in the meantime, finds 1 onto Wicked, notably, and then looks for someone peeking over the corner. The Yachty of all people grapples up, gets stunned into the wall, and Gato finish is the kill off.
Great hold from Aura Fury. Again, maybe not expected from Stevo. Maybe we thought we were going to run the ball back, but you know, just great hold initially from there, and great angles, recognizing that Wicked is the win condition. We have to have the sights from both sides, so we will see everything clearly as we have these angles. High noon as well, but the nano from Gato is the difference maker here. Where that nano ends up will decide the fight.
No, 100%, totally agree with you. The sleep connects onto its target. Beautiful. Wicked is and has sights online here. Finds a headshot onto Vero in the meantime. No Deadeye to be seen, as well as no Water Lily or Blank there, or Ed. So no support besides Gato, as you said, who has that nano if needed be. But with that beautiful display of just clutching up that series, or clutching up that fight, we see, yo, we're swapping. We're swapping.
Yeah, we're done here. That's... Yeah, I don't blame you. Like, even if you're just gonna, if you're not winning the Widow duel, though, I mean, at least if you have Mei, you get a little more survivability. Those icicles are almost as good as a sniper shot too. There's no fall off on them, so I get the like, all right, let's just send icicles down there and let's just go. But with ults online, again, holding onto that nano is like the biggest difference maker you can do here.
Panopticon online. Stevo also gets a nano in the meantime. Cloudman taking a nap on the job. Goes to the back line. Not going to find much besides like Death of N, who goes over to Lucio. Then we see Pyro going over to the Widowmaker in the 1v1. Cassie comes in to help the day, and Jaffner gets a kill at the end of the series. But Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts have 3-4 with N coming in, respawning, and Wicked needs to find a new angle to look at this from. Gato dies. Cart is slowly being pushed, and I'm right there with you guys. Don't forget about the objective now. But we're at the last minute marker. Wicked's looking at this front line, looking at anywhere to get an advantage, but doesn't find it as Vero finds elimination, and now we're at 45 seconds here, so out.
Yeah, there's time to get back for one more fight. If we weren't pushing the cart the whole time, we would have actually been in a much worse position now. High noon and Blizzard. Blizzard actually might seal the deal here.
Oh, wait, for sure. 1, 2,
no,
3.
it's
Yes,
crazy
Wubs.
shots.
Yes.
Wow.
1, 2, and 3.
Crazy.
And that cap 3 minutes. This is really good. Really, really good place to be for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts.
Yeah, I'm sold on the Mei pick now. That's great shooting from Wubs. Yeah, you don't need to be a sniper if you are the Mei. Those icicles just absolutely doming. Beautifully done. Great pick. A little bit more survivability really made the difference. Water Lily over to the Baptiste there to try to give a little more survivability as well with that Immort Field. Yeah, I buy it. And over to the Lucio. Just trying to make sure the angles and can move Cloud11 around. I buy it.
I love it. They're kind of bullying Stevo here to the wall, and then get pushed around, which of course activates the stun as well from Cloud11. We had the lamp already getting used early onwards, and then the very defensive cage from Cloud11's shield. Unfortunately, as you try to walk out of it and try to get back to safety, you're being looked at by not only a newly found Sojourn, but also that Emre, right? Yeah. Orla is doing everything in her power to keep this Mei alive from Wubs. And listen, the damage output, Bap is amazing. Bap can just kind of throw out healing as much as he possibly can. But in the face of, again, Ember and a Sojourn and a Domina, it's really difficult to do that.
I was gonna say, I really actually do. We haven't talked about Blank for a minute here, but Blank over on this Iari is actually putting in a lot of work. Like, we talked about them playing flex DPS earlier, and this is actually like a great pick because Iliari can just get so much value. You throw turret down, and then if you actually just keep hitting your shots, which at this level you should be able to, you'll get a ton of value. You'll have Nano, you'll have Sun. You should be able to walk through this. And Wicked gets an early pick, so we are good as gold here.
Oh gosh, we have a trade-off. Got the for Wubs here, meaning we do have both supports in line here for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts. Now, as you mentioned, Blank needs to be stopped. Because all my man is doing, as you mentioned, is putting that pylon down, giving healing, the suggestion of healing to his team, and then fragging out completely on Yari. This is how you play the character, especially if you're kind of shoehorned into, that's a bad word, sorry, not the correct word, but kind of going into the support role. Just play DPS with the Yachty, and you get to win every single time.
It's true. They do need to get this hold from one last fight. There's still a third point, but they don't want to try to get this far. And I think that was still a very efficient play. Gato died with Nano, and there's only one sound barrier and a Blizzard here. Blizzard's going to get used defensively, is my expectation here. So this does favor Aura Fury so much.
I love the sound barrier though as an answer to Panopticon as well. And the wall off of Stevo resulting in a kill on the not just Blank,
Nano
but also the Mei. Now override protocol, Nano however might be a little bit dangerous to work with, especially as you don't get the kill on the Baptiste and then you get looked at by the Cassidy. That's going to be the end of that engagement here, but only 15 seconds left on the clock. Wub still holds on steadfast to this Blizzard versus the overclock from Jaffner.
Yeah, and with no answer in sight for the Blizzard, no defensive. I mean, Wubs should just get value. You just need to drop it at the corner, drop it at the end of the road, and you should be able to go on to 3. Overclock desperation for Jaffner needs to hit somebody.
Doesn't find nothing but the lamp, and Wubs is on angle. Yo, Wubs is on the angle. Where Wubs? How did we get there? And why did no one check for you, boo? We still have the Blizzard.
That's crazy.
And you know what? With a minute and a half left here, so I'm not mad that we still have our check marks. This is so good for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts.
Oh, Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts have been winning all match without spending them check marks. That bank has been full as much as they can get it, and I think that's a credit to them as how much they've really pressed and grown and really want to go into that grand finals again. But we're back into the wider angle now, so I do have to question. Wub's not necessarily going to be able to find too much more value. I say that knowing he'll prove me wrong, but like, you can't get a ton of value here. This is not the close spaces where Mei really gets a lot of space. Instead of Wicked will open it up again.
Oh, but Wubs dies for it. Blank finds a kill, environmental kill, but a double kill, triple kill onto surely the Dominant. Yes, we do find it. We gotta retrieve back to the point here, so it's gonna be Lucio just engaging from the team for a little bit here. Not able to give the healing output needed for Cloud Lemon and for Vero to continue onwards, but they've passed the corner. Now we're at the main lane, and they have 3 check marks to work with.
Make it 4. End is going to get that sound barrier before fight starts, and there is literally nothing. It is on Blank's shoulders to kind of do anything to make this stop, and that is a difficult ask. It's probably not going to happen.
What a stun. Well done. We also have the stun coming in from the side of Blank. It finds those early on, but Annihilation comes through. Wait, Blank for the triple kill. Wait a minute. But the Annihilation is so strong, but only 9 seconds left, and that's not going to be enough. That's the end of the fight. Blank single-handedly saved the engagement, and of course the Nano onto Wicked, I'm sure, was a big cherry on top in that fight. The series is not done, ladies and gentlemen. We are still alive and strong.
That's crazy. Blank needed to be the hero in the moment and absolutely said, I got this. I will not fall to the ice there. I mean, that was just genuinely the toughest situation. You had a sound barrier playing through. You had several ultimates. You had a Blizzard to fight through and just opted over the top and stepped onto it. But man, Aura Fury back against the wall. Beautifully done from them. But I do think they have a lot to owe to Wicked as well, who really came to life here. Played some interesting play. I see why the Genji was taken out in map 1, but man, you know, we can kind of see where the success for Aura Fury is going to come from, and I think it's from that combination right there. Wicked and Blank on their respective roles really can do a lot of work. Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts look good. Let's not also sell that short there, Mott. I do think that they did everything right as they were supposed to, but sometimes the clutch moments and the clutch plays just kind of come through, and sometimes you have to respect those Widow sightlines a little bit more. Wicked prove that more than enough time and time again that they will just win through a lot of those angles.
You know, for sure. Also, I want to give a side note. My 5K points are now gone. Thank you for losing that Unwoke Yaoi enthusiast. I am not mad. I will get that back with many CGL streams. I can't believe my 5K. What the heck? But it was a
That's
really,
crazy.
really good return to form, really, for Aura Fury. They needed this win. They needed this win really, really bad. And this could be the start. Oh, you know what crazy? The crazier part is look at the stats. Wow.
30k damage between the DPS. Between the DPS on the side of Unwoke alone.
Oh,
then you add in Cloud. Those are some insane amounts of damage happening out there. I mean, Stevo and Wicked putting out near the same number with Jaffner coming through, but Blank also putting out a literal DPS amount of damage on the side of the ERE and the Zen for the little bit they sat on it. Like, I think that's just nuts. Like, your support line with Blank on it just infinitely becomes, again, just a third DPS. We're back to like early 2017 Overwatch where we had a solo support with 3 DPS, like in this point. Wild.
Oh, truly, and that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier when we actually started talking about Blank a little more. We were like, wait, my man's playing Yaoi. Wait, that's just a DPS. Like you're not even playing support. You're playing DPS. Like,
you're playing DPS.
That's a third DPS. That's illegal, right? So this is what I'm talking about though, right? This is the win that they definitely needed. They needed some sort of confidence rebooster back into their system. Again, 2-0 on Lijiang Tower, a 1-0, a full hold on Numbani. Yeah. That does horrible things to your mental. It does horrible things to your mental and your skill set, right? And then you pull in, you're like, yo, go Widowmaker real quick. And then boom,
we just
suddenly it's like, wait, we're back. So now we go to map number 4, Soev, and we only have 1 or 2 options. It's gonna be push or it's gonna be flashpoint. We decide as the Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, they decide we're gonna go to flashpoint. One of 3 options. Take a wild guess.
There's no other. There's not. There's not 3 options.
It's 3 options. No. Really, there's only 2. AKA lower down to 1. It's Saravasa.
It's going to be Saravasa. It's always going to be Saravasa. There are very few teams that want to play. Like, look, if we're keeping Stevo and he wants to play ball, I actually would have bought maybe New Junk City if we, or not New Junk, I'm sorry, Queen Street, but we don't have that luxury. Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts do get the chance to kind of take it. They will bring us back to something a little more brawl centric and a little bit more in their favor. And then we have to look to the bans because I think that is going to tell us a lot. And I mean, what do we do about this? Because you're not playing Widow here. You don't have the sightlines for that. So what do we get rid of here?
Well,
I don't know, man. Like, nothing from that previous map will really carry over. We're kind of just back to square one. And maybe you just take out the D.Va here. This feels like a safe bet. You know that Cloud is just going to run it down on Ramatra. You're not playing the D.Va necessarily. Like, that protects Ramatra. I do kind of think that maybe that's like the safest pick, but I don't know that Unwoke are really afraid of anything. I guess apparently the Reaper. There must be something on the bench that they know that we don't.
You know, Reaper, I mean, Reaper in these very close encounters of Saravasa, right?
Yeah, it's
close
strong.
quarters.
It's strong.
It can be strong. I definitely understand it, especially if you don't really feel like being shredded down on like a Winston, for example, on a D.Va, on a Ramatra. I get it as just like, I don't want to deal with a tank bruiser like Reaper when he is selected. However, in the matches we have seen, that hasn't really come into fruition, right? On that same note, now Aura Fury are now, once again, okay, we're gonna ban second. It's either tank or support ban. They've already burned the Kiriko ban. I also want to take a note of that we haven't really seen Kiriko, so that's kind of irrelevant to me personally. No. So I am looking towards maybe a more targeted ban of the Baptiste, possibly, or a D.Va. And
I buy that. I could see the Baptiste going. Genuinely, Aura Fury have been kind of sticking with that. Yeah, I also don't hate that though, because you know that Cloud has been running the Ramatra. You see that that's wide open. I actually don't hate that, especially because now you're forcing them to either accept playing the Cloud Lemon Winston again, which you can in theory kind of beat your way through. You can kind of punish that. That's very easy. Or you're expecting for, maybe a different brawl tank to come through. There are kind of a number of rotations that you can get. But there's going to be a lot going on here because we will also have a sub on the side of Aura Fury, and it's someone we've seen before. It's an obvious reason. It's a reason because we're going to put Tracer on because we need a reason. We need Tracer. It checks out. Yeah, like this Saravasa gets a lot of value when Tracer is played. Also opens up back into that ball dive, and that's going to make the back line a lot more exploitable when you are Aura Fury. So I do think, checks out. Like, this is exactly what you want to do in this situation.
For sure. I think having a reason back in, it makes complete sense to me at the first. It makes for the exact same reasoning, right? Tracer, have that someone that marks those angles, and you have Wicked kind of popping back off. Ideally on that M right again is where I want to see him lie once more. Again, Coach Cam is getting a little stressed out. We got a little dark in here. Okay. I'll say, don't be all in the dark.
Screen lit up. Screen lit up.
Screen lit up, bro. That's a light of hope. A light of hope here for our team right now. Now, again, sort of also a really fun map. It's 5 entire rounds of it, so this can go easily into its own mini best of 5, right? In terms of reverse sweeps, and that can always happen, which is really, really cool and really fun. When it does come down to like the wire, last fight, last point of all things, Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast still holding on to that match point, or Fury deciding, okay, what can we do here to find ourselves also at match point and force a game number 5 from these guys for the 3rd time? Wicked still deciding what to go to, but Stevo hovering over Sigma. Will it stick? Well, right now it looks like it will.
I got some mixed feelings, Mott. I don't hate I don't hate the Sigma. It's a very safe pick in regards to stability, in regards to being able to play around. You have to, your DPS are more initiating there. But against Cloud Lemon, you are just not gonna live. Like, they are gonna melt that barrier. That beam is gonna go right into your face. I think we're gonna look at this and go, well, we are not playing Sigma after fight 1 and we lose this.
Yeah, especially into a Zarya, that's the big thing I want
Zarya
to talk
May.
about. Zarya May, it's just like a big, I don't care about Sigma and Graphitic and the Flux hands as well.
Whoa,
so
what a rock.
we do lose out on Warlord though, which is really, really big. However, the damage output, especially with Cloud Lemon being so high charged,
Wicked
could
crazy.
be enough to make it great, make it flip back in their favor, but Cloud cannot do everything.
Wicked.
No one's looking at Wicked. No one looked
Wicked
at him
is
the
just
entire
going
time.
What?
Oh, yeah.
What does this man's not play? They've shown us a Widow. They showed us a Venture. They showed us a Genji. This man's actually insane. Just knows the Overwatch. This, you know what? I guess I did not know ball, Mott. Like, I did not expect to see that coming.
No, me neither. Well, Venture used to be so, or can still be so strong on Servos, on Flashpoint, because of just like their kit,
The
way that they
unpredictability.
play.
The unpredictability.
Yes, that as well. The quick in and out, the ability to bury and stall point. But my God, you remind me all wholeheartedly why they're so strong. Now, Wubs already has Blizzard, as you mentioned. This could be a big opener here if Stevo does not inhale it or take it in. Flux comes down to 4 people though, and that the big old lamp is not giving enough. All to jump in the air. Not enough though.
That's
Wicked finds a triple kill. You're greedy. If you're greedy, just say that.
Yo, Wicked just said absolutely not. This is my play right here, and just knocked everybody out of the Rock's way and still won the fight. That's insane. What a moment. That's crazy. There's no analysis. That's just insane. They will get .1 here. Look, there's no analysis for that because that just should not have happened. Last second desperation touch. They will get it here. Lucio's probably gonna give their life to do it, and will get booped immediately away. But no, not even. No, they realize after the boop is not happening. Great read. They will get punished for their sins, but you know what? That's fine.
And this kind of sucks because they're forced to take a fight. They're forced to lose members of their team from both sides, right? Wubs and then I believe it was Stevo as well. Right now, Blanco's
I don't know about that.
I never want to invest ultimates between rounds because it's not even unlocking for the next 10 seconds. First of all, second of all, I don't like that.
You are down 1. Yeah, do not like that. Blank should want a refund there. I get the thought of the aggressive play. That's a DPS player mindset, but that was not it. We got split up with Stevo and Blank, so not quite it. 5 ults on the board for Unwoke. They will have a full treasure trove here. They should just win it out. It's just not overextending these ultimates is the only thing.
Pulls on the floor, finds nothing. Sound barrier also gets used. So 3, 4 ultimates got used
got
in
8.
the middle of the engagement here, by the way. Meaning, yeah, we now we're even on ult economy and all that jazz, which is very surprising of all things. But, it works out for Yaoi enthusiasts to continue to hold on to ruins. Still a little bit too much for my liking, especially into Stevo's Flux, but it's all right.
I mean, but the problem is that Stevo ate the Blizzard. Like, we wouldn't have had to commit more if the Blizzard had landed. So I think we would have. It was one of those cases where, like, we saw the worst case scenario and we have to commit this. That is what a flux into the high noon there. Gets out of the way for it. Wow. What a Sigma play from Stevo here.
The aggression.
Wow.
The aggression.
I love this.
They
I love
slightly kited away from the die, right? Let it go down, wait for the lamp to go down, then they completely just Boom, 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 boom. Kill everything.
Yeah.
And everything died. Now we
Ma,
have
remember what I
Hanzo.
said?
What's up?
Remember when I said we'd be playing other Brawl tanks? I didn't think we were playing Sigma the Brawl tank here. Apparently Steve was making a case for that, because that was just insane how quickly they aggressed onto that 3-man. Wubs to the Hanzo now, again, playing for a little bit more pick potential to try to get a little more balance and take away from the aggression. Virgo does get one. Oh, what a great flick again. This is exactly why the Hanzo needed to be out of the way. Blank manages to live, but Point continues to tick up 81 to 50 now. Or Fury's still just building up here. They'll stall it out the best they can.
Big, really good quick fight there for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, and then they're going to be able to take a very quick retake here as well. I mean, you're at 81%. You might, if you're Aura Fury, I would not try to fight this only because we have slow Sigma. But I think it's gonna be Blank who's gonna try to set up, or sorry, Reason who's try to set up for a touch here. Looking for it, but we do find a touch. Oh, they faked me out and
Blank,
the Observer.
it
Was Blank who going for the touch, but Vera
Blank.
was looking for it and got the kill at the end of the day, and also found the kill of Reason to end a Reason's life there as well. Unfortunate touch, unfortunate fight here for Aura Fury, meaning we are 1-1 in Saravasa, moving onwards in the map.
All right, 1-1. We're back out of the neutral, so we have ultimates online. Wubs built that Dragon Strike fairly quickly. We'll have a sound barrier for a little bit more defensive. Blank's nowhere in sight means that we're kind of just looking at Wicked to be the hero again. We have another Flux. Stevo might even choose to use that a bit defensively here, though I don't think they know defensively. I think Aura Fury's just going to step on the gas here and send it quickly. We just, and again, need to make sure the Venture and the Sigma stay out of each other's way and work together to get the value.
Oh god, another big Flux. Hold on, they go down. Good Soundberry, good bubble, and the Rock gets killed, but gets shut down by the corner of the temple. Meaning, okay, we're gonna come in with a Tectonic Talk instead. So Wicked comes in, forces a complete disengagement from the entire team here, separates Vero from the rest of the team to get booped away by Blank, then looking for End Lucio. End is barely able to skate away in time, but I can't really say the same for the rest of his team, as everyone else just basically dies in the meantime.
I mean, that was a little bit costly, but it was the right amount. You used both your ults. You built up 3 more, so you had this going to fight. You got Sound Barrier out. The problem is for Aura Fury, you have to basically hope that they try to grab Dragon this and that your Sound Barrier lives through it. I mean, even with Water Lily over in the Kitsune Rush, these are so many strong ultimate that I don't know that you can survive through this.
Oh, the grab, and of course, the Rock within the grab down charge is really funny onto specifically Wubs.
Crazy.
The grab and the grab down charge did get used together, but it didn't work the way they were looking for it to come together for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts. Aura Fury completely sidestepped it, and then got the reversal, of course, continuing onwards in the temple point. They're going next. They're going to go Palace next for sure.
Yeah, we're done here. They know that they just recognize there's no reason to touch it. Wub's going to go over to match the Venture now. And yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's a good target for the Zarya. This is a classic kind of maneuver. You give Wubs a bit of a play into Wicked as well to try to disrupt the backline. But the problem for the backline is, for Wubs' playing, is Blank and Gato are just stuck with Stevo, and they're just scootering him around, just throwing orbs and rocks at everything, while also just running down anything that isn't getting bothered by Wicked and a Reason. So just a great space control, great control of that. Water Lily's going to send in this, and this will probably be the fight winner right here alone.
Ooh, okay. Everyone's stuck in this very small little area. Meaning Gato is when the first one go down, first one to go down according to Vero. Of course, says Vero. So you're not gonna have that piece for this entire fight. So Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts are able to overtake the point with really relative ease. I mean, there was really nothing else they'd done besides use Water Lily's Kitsune Rush.
It was the right call to disengage that. Like, you don't have an answer. You're basically in the neutral. You can just play for the retake here. You have Stevo's Flux back in. And these Fluxes have been so aggressive, constantly catching players out. So big. Well used, always.
Oh, but Vero found the answer. That is, I'm going to use Deadeye during the Flux, and someone's going to walk into it, and it was Blank this time, who unfortunately was taken down by the Deadeye of the Cassidy.
Crazy.
Cloud Lemon, unfortunately, again, self-bubbles really, really low, can't really self-sustain after that in full engagement, meaning that's unfortunate. You lost your Zarya, but the rest of Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts are so good at just making up what they are lacking, right? Now we're at 70% to nothing for Aura Fury, and they're gonna have double, the shock and the sound barrier.
Shock and sound barrier. Yeah, like they just again put out so much more damage that they're able to do it, and the Flux didn't get the value you're looking for. There is time for one more touch, and it looks like Aura Fury is gonna do it. You're gonna send the loot. Yo, Blank didn't even make it. Yeah, we're done here. We should just walk away. This is already a fight loss.
Yeah, Wicked's gonna try his best to continue onwards in that fight, and then you're gonna get the secondary touch from Steve-O on that Sigma. But health pools are not lying up on the top right there. They are not looking very good, not very healthy. Yeah. So unsurprisingly enough, we are going over to our fifth and final round of Suravasa. Take it all down over to Palace.
I mean, these two teams have gone to map 5 before. Of course, we're going to get all 5 sub-maps. But again, the bank for Unwoke just continues to grow here. Graviton Surge, Sound Barrier, they'll be coming into a Kitsune. They still have the Tech Shock. Like, just a wealth of riches to win this and capture the first point. Steve-O over to the ball. Yeah, I like it. Maybe a little bit too late, but it's the right call. Everybody else except for Gato is pretty mobile. So it's just going to depends how Wicked can kind of get at these sight lines. I think is how they control the space map is going to decide if Aura Fury gets to keep playing in the next map.
Oh my god, the aim from Wicked and this armor is so good. Now we do see a solo grab
onto
the wrecking ball, which listen. You're so valid. That's so valid. I can never get mad at a solo on a wrecking ball. Now, I will say, unfortunately, they did not get the point first, which gives about 15% over to Aura Fury for free. But it's quickly finished off by Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast.
And more importantly, that was the only ult. We only used Graviton Surge. We committed nothing else into this to get that free value from the ball. And you can see in the background their ball is kind of hiding in position, trying to play the angles here. So again, Unwoke just goes into this next fight with a treasure trove of riches, while Blank has the only sound barrier answer for one of these. Wubs makes the stop early. Beautiful.
Yeah, not gonna happen. Unfortunately, Wicked is down for the count. We're at over almost 50% of the point captured here for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast. And as you mentioned, as you alluded to, they have check marks to work with it, right? 4 of them, in fact, and we're gonna get a kill onto a Reason super late as well. Nah.
Zero needed. Zero needed though. Zero needed. Just good fundamentals of finding a target, calling it, and everybody going in to kill. I did see a red character move in the background there, so there will be someone for the touch on the Aura Fury.
Oh, we're going for an aggressive barrier here, but there's a touch as you're talking about, and they're going to get the flip right at the tail end of what was a very quick fight, to be completely fair, but they've lost that kind of upper hand that they were really gunning for in the middle of that sound barrier engagement tool, right? Now you have this ball who is contesting for a little bit longer, then you also have Blank going in for the next touch. So we're going to actually get around 50% of the point there, but you had to go for another touch, and A-Reason's not going to do it. Yeah, it's done. Rush has won the point. Yeah, GG, shake my hand. That's a 3-1 victory here for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast. Coach is clapping his hands, happy as he could possibly be about that victory.
I mean, that's the best outcome you could took. It feels like, I think, especially for Coach Slaying Beast there, that feels cathartic, because what felt like, you know, a rough beginning, you were playing a couple comps, it didn't quite work, you were getting kind of beat out by Wicked, you made a couple swaps, you watched your team make the right decisions in the moment, and that's sometimes the hardest thing to do, is just to, you know, sit there and watch helplessly as you know your team needs to make those decisions in the moment, and they did it. You know, just kudos to Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts. They did not want to repeat that 5-mapper, and they will not. They instead will go on to play Shoes Production Crew and looking to upset the Kings at the top of the board here. I mean, looking back, man, Wubs and Cloud both at, I mean, sorry, that's 3 at 9K. Cloud, Wubs, and Virologic all at 9K. Just absolutely. Like, we talked about Blank being another DPS there. I mean, turns out you just had 3 in on the other side as well.
No, for sure. Really, really well done. Wholeheartedly from both teams. From Yaoi Enthusiast as well as Aura Fury. Really, really good series overall. Started off with a bang with ACS, unfortunately, kind of just getting booped off the map. And then, you know, the rest of the series went just as we expected. Really, really good stuff from Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast yet again. And like you said, they have punched their ticket to get to Grand Finals up against Shoes Production Crew, who has been really just hammering in a lot of their wins from the winner's side. Totally from the winner's side, actually, as this was a lower round match. But otherwise, big shout outs really to Wubs, honestly, in my opinion. Might be my MVP of the entire match, truly, from Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast. Really good Ashe, really good flexibility, really solid on every character that he's flexed over to. Yeah,
I mean, Wubs, I'm inclined to agree. Wubs is just a phenom across all of those Heroes played all of those maps, just constantly looked good. Making that Mei seem like she needs to get nerfed too is just crazy, like, for making that work. It's hard though, because Cloud Lemon, again, who has been a CGL staple on the tank line forever, just also looked very, very good. Just held that line very, very well across multiple tanks. Your logic, just very, very good. And then shout out one more time, shout Water Lily, who's first time here playing on like a big team, playing in their first real event, looking fantastic, looking like they're not out of place on it. I think Aura Fury has nothing to be ashamed of, though. This was a tough, tough map. You were the underdogs. You were the 5th seed. You fought so hard. You even upset this team once before. Nothing to be ashamed of. That's a very, very tough ask.
Yeah, I mean, in the past 3 matches between these guys, it has been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and today was almost no different, as Aura Fury had a little bit of life back in them on Havana. But, as we go back and reset the stage here, you can see our 4 maps, of course, and how the series went, getting closer and closer, more warmed up, I feel like, as the series went on, for Aura Fury to actually get that win on Havana. Then we move over to Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast and Aura Fury's bans as well, which were, I think, pretty impactful, especially from the side of Aura Fury, who were on the back end of most of these maps here as well. Recalling the bans like the Mauga, the Kiriko, the Hanzo on Havana, for example.
Yeah.
The Ramatra, which I feel like they were expecting Cloud Lemon to go to that, and they kind of forgot Cloud Lemon. That's what I knew Cloud Lemon as.
Had other tanks,
That was a Zarya that I had played into in Diamond Division once before, and he has always been so prolific on him.
Yeah.
So prolific on any tank that he really touches.
Yeah, it's really hard to, again, like I said, there's just a lot of CGL royalty in these kind of Masters games. Maybe not the peak of their, of their careers 5-6 years ago, but who really is. But the good news, Ma, is we'll get a little bit more insight, as we should have some interviews. We're going to take a minute, grab those players in, and we'll be back to talk to some of these players in just a moment.
All right, the debate has been ended. What would happen if these guys went 3 times? Well, it ends up being Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts' favor, and of course, we're going to talk to some of those victors before they go into that grand finals match happening later, or at some point in the week. I have Wubs, I have Slaying here in the booth to talk to us about this series and potentially the next. So you guys, amazing job today. 3-1 victory. Not quite the perfect 3-0 you guys were expecting, I'm assuming.
I mean, we trolled a little bit, but
Oh,
at the end of
let's
the
talk
day,
about
it's,
it.
you know.
Let's talk about it. Where did we troll?
Yeah, hold
I
on.
think a couple times we thought to ourselves that maybe the comp isn't working, but we felt pretty confident on our individual roles and felt like we could do it. And then at some point, I was just kind of like, okay, we have to actually play a flex DPS at some point in the game. And then that started to work, and it didn't really matter at that point.
Yeah. I mean, that was that's kind of actually an interesting thing to you. I want to pose to the coach here, because I've had to sit alongside watching my team kind of make those decisions. How, tell me a little bit about it. What was it like there on Sarabasa, watching your team kind of struggle a little bit on those first initial picks, and then kind of just like, you know, are they gonna how do they handle on their own? You know, can you kick them out the nest? And are they gonna fly? How are you feeling watching your team kind of like get their footing into the winning comp?
I think it definitely threw me off a little bit with their tank swap. I wasn't really expecting Ascend to ever be benched, I suppose, because I think he's one of their better tank players for sure. Steve wasn't bad, but I think it kind of threw us off. But I think halfway through, it was actually Wubs who kind of noticed it was what he can get away with and what he couldn't, and he kind of called for a comp switch. And I had just messaged, or I said something privately to him that, you know, at the end of the day, if he wants to swap comps and change it up, I have full faith in it, and he did. And I think we adapted pretty well. So having faith in your teammates, I think, kind of led to our win there.
Yeah, that's very well put. I don't think you could put it any other way. All right, you know what's in the road ahead. You know who's waiting at the end of the top of the mountain. It's Shoes Production Crew. I know you guys have played them before. I mean, for both of you guys, like, are you feeling like, how are you feeling? Is the mental good? Are we feeling like we're ready to take it? Do you feel like we've watched enough VODs back and understood it? Are you feeling prepared to be back and get your revenge on them, considering, you know, how they've been dominant through the season?
I'll let Wubs answer this one.
I mean, last time we played him, we did win, so I don't know if I'd go revenge. But
Oh, that's right. This was in the playoffs, yeah.
I don't think that the vibes on our team have really ever been higher. Just the energy in the comm channel every game is just infinitely better than it was at the beginning of the season. So we're all so ready. I don't think there's anything we could do to prepare more for this. And we know what we got to do. So we're just looking to execute tomorrow and figure it out.
Oh, tomorrow. I love. We're going.
Tomorrow.
We're ready for it. We're ready to tear them down. I love to hear that confidence. I love to hear that type of just really good ideas, right, and playmaking ideas you guys have in the toolkit for Shoes Production Crew on ideally tomorrow, right, and for the grand finals. Yeah. With that being said, is there anyone you guys would like to give a shout out to quickly on the broadcast before we let you go?
I'll just briefly shout out Aura Fury. Definitely one of the only teams, I would say, to really give us a run for our money countless times. Obviously, Shoes as well was pretty solid, and UTD in the past were pretty good, but I feel like Aura Fury is definitely the mirror for us that made us actually kind of question and think what we were supposed to do and have to practice a little bit more. So credit to them where it's due. Hopefully see them again next season, but, you know, we're ready. So I think shout out to our team, especially our subs, People who haven't
Yeah,
really played
I-
that many maps, they really locked in. Cloud,
Definitely,
especially,
yeah.
and Lily.
Cloud and Vyro, the steps, and like if you go back in VODs and everything, if we had games streamed at the beginning, I mean, it's a night and day difference from both of the players. Like especially Vyro, he was originally in as a sub DPS to Kizzo.
Wow.
And Kizzo is not, available most of the time. His schedule's a bit weird. So stepping into the main roster and basically being starter now and putting up the numbers that he does, it's very impressive, and I'm really great to see through the season. It's only gotten better.
Yeah, player growth has been incredible, so I can't complain about that. It's my happiest thing.
Listen, it's gonna get even better tomorrow. Trust me on that. Y'all gonna have a really good match. That I know is going.
That's
to be
gonna be a
true.
banger.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
a banger. You simply have to be there for the best of 7, I believe, right? So big old
Yes,
map,
BF7.
big old series you guys have in store for you guys. So get a lot of good rest today. Get that energy pumping, because y'all gonna need it against Shoes Prod Crew tomorrow. Okay?
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Perfect.
Of course.
you,
Have
guys.
a good night.
All right.
All right. That's not it.
Yeah.
We have this is
That's not
the
it. We have more.
bracket, so we have one last interview, a little bit more of a melancholy tone we're gonna take here as we do introduce a very special somebody on the broadcast. We have Blank coming up on deck here, flexing around as he does, and with, I mean, very beautifully done as well. Hello to the player Cam. Now, Blank.
Love it.
Today was unfortunately the loss. Third place finish here for Aura Fury. How does that feel going, finishing the season at third?
There's some sweet and there's some sour to it. It feels really good to be coming in, podium on this tournament, obviously, especially with competing in Diamond tier last season playing there one season and already moving to Masters tier and taking third in it. There's obviously some good feelings to that, but obviously everyone wants that first place.
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, that'll have to come into the future. But let's jump. I want to stay in the present because, we saw a lot of insanity from both sides of the teams. But I want to talk a little bit about your position in all of this, because we saw you start on the flex DPS, but then move over into that kind of flex support. Tell me a little bit how we ended up there, because you were popping off on that Cassidy in game one, but then we see you being the hero we need on Havana. Where did this flex over come from, aside from your ability to obviously flex?
So the reason I play on Control is just because we normally do a lot of stuff like Pharah on Control, and truthfully Pharah is really well baked into my pool. I enjoy the character a lot. So naturally, I just play control maps on DPS. But when it comes to pure flexibility, we've kind of decided as a team that I may not be a carry in the game, but I'm a pretty heavy comms carry when it comes to communication being kept up in the team. If we learn that if I'm not in the first 2 or 3 games, comms slowly start to degrade because of just tiredness from everyone, and I could yap all day. So just keeping me in the game, keeping comms together, just constantly making some kind of conversation happen. Even I don't know if y'all show our cams between matches, but you'll even see between matches my cam, we're sitting there smiling, cracking up, telling stupid stories the whole time. Like, of course, 95% of the time not even talking about the game of Overwatch. But just keeping energies high is the majority of the reason that I stay in most maps.
I mean, honestly, you were a pleasure to watch, and genuinely, you had incredible moments of popping off. So I absolutely see add-in comms makes sense why you are one of the keys to this. But let's talk about what we see here for a moment, because I think this is a big thing on everybody's mind. Is this just how you get into Overwatch? Do you play primarily like this? Shirt off, flexing, just in that kind of mental? Is that like your mental most of the time, and you try to carry that down? Is this like, you talked about being the leader, is that how you try to inspire everybody, this kind of primal energy?
Yeah, they said I had to put pants on for this, so y'all got that courtesy this time around. But when it comes to the shirt, for one, my room gets super hot, like ridiculously hot. So I don't almost ever wear clothes playing Overwatch. But also I've always encouraged my team to go into every game like you're the better player. Always tell yourself you're the better player. And that's kind of where the flexing came from. Is it's a little bit of like, even though I could be getting dominated on a map, if I kill you once, I'm gonna flex on you because I'm gonna tell myself I'm better, and then I'm gonna do it again. And you know, keeping my energy high makes it so much easier to keep everyone else's energy high. So that's where, you know, it's a little ego, like, you know, it's a little egotistical, but at the same time, it's just the way to keep vibes up, keep energy high. You know, everyone starts laughing when you're screaming in a call that you're dunking on a kid. Like some people were watching the stream while spectating, and they died laughing when they saw that I physically flexed in my microphone after hitting the Pharah clip, or flexed my camera after hitting the Pharah clip. Like, it just keeps everyone's energy good, and that's like the whole goal around it.
Yeah, huge respect for that energy, man. I understand that completely.
No, totally. Like, literally, it really shows as well in the interview how much personality you do have and how much you bring to the table. So, I mean, truly, Aura Fury, very, very, very lucky to have you. And on that same note of Aura Fury, right? Are there any future plans, possibly for yourself, for the entire team? Will we see the resurgence of Aura Fury in season 18 of CGL?
I think Aura Fury maybe will come back to CGL. I don't know if it'll be season 18, because I know the team's going to undergo some pretty big changes after this season. So I don't know if it'll quite be season 18, but you can definitely expect to see Aura Fury around.
Yes!
Excellent.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
Love that.
Love to hear that. I just want to make sure that my team, I want to see my teams come back at some point, whether it's in 6 months or in 3 years. And on that note, right, quick last little question here, and of course that's just to give a shout out to whomever you would like on the broadcast as your last hurrah.
Oh, and just a massive shout out to the entire team. Like, truthfully, you know, not even 12 months ago, over half this team was gold. Like,
crazy.
Truthfully, the just amount of development this team has made in such a just staggering amount of time is crazy. Like, everyone truthfully committed to the game. They truthfully committed to learning. Like, they really developed to try and become the best players they can. And I'll tell you right now, I've got scrim VODs from 12 months ago, and I've got scrim VODs from last week, and it is night and day. Like, the team has developed as a whole. They developed together. Like, it truthfully is a great accomplishment for everyone on the team, and I'm super proud of all of them. Like, truthfully, they nailed this. Like, third place Masters tier coming from golds 2 seasons ago. Like, that's big. Insane.
That's so big. Yeah, you guys, it's crazy. You guys were 5th seed, and you guys pulled up arguably one of the deepest upsets in the brackets we've seen. So thank you, Blank.
What was it, a 3rd seed, a 2nd seed, and a 1st seed that we knocked into losers?
Yeah. I mean, it just, man, incredible play tonight. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the chance. Thank you for your energy to keeping this positive. We always love to see it. It's always sad to do the losers, but like, it's always, I love to see, you know, these guys. I love to see people go out on a high note. So thank you, Blank, for everything, man. Great season.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
Take care, man.
Bye.
I mean, the Cinderella run ends here, but you got to give it. That dude puts the aura in Aura Fury. He absolutely is kind of that mental carry, and he carried them up to third place is nothing to be ashamed of. You know, incredible bracket we have here, and I still can't believe we have one more game after this, because that could have been the grand finals alone.
I mean, listen, we have one more game that's happening tomorrow. They said tomorrow already. I was like, oh, tomorrow? No break? Okay. I mean, tomorrow is Saturday night, so listen, unless you're going to a party, you better get in the CGL game. Listen, stream the game at your party. Like, I don't care. We have to watch this grand between Shoes Production Crew and Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts for Masters Grands, okay? Again, it is best of 7. It is a very long series. This can easily go. I mean, we already had our EU game earlier today. That went Game 7, 4-3 finisher, right? So this could easily be the same song and dance. So listen, all my players tomorrow, if you are shoes product crew or the side of Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, get some water, rest up, get a good meal in, but don't go into a food coma, okay? That's my 4 words of advice going into that big old first of 4 best of 7 grand finals. But with that being said, so have you have been absolutely amazing to cast with. Thank you so much for your time and your analysis, as well as my producer and my observer, as always, really setting the stage here in the behind the scenes that y'all don't see, but you see the beautiful end product as you can see around us. So thank you so much to them as well. And with that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more and almost the end of season 17 of CGL. Have a good one.
Take care.